Yeah, it is.
How many really, really, really successful people are good?
Not many.
No.
I actually tend to believe that people grow into being bad over time. We talked about this
especially
earlier with
if you
Chuck
have
Berry.
money. I think the more money you have, the quicker you get bored, and then it's like all that's left is bad stuff.
That is exactly right. I think what happens is you get bored of regular things. You can't have regular sex, and so you start doing weird sex, and it gets weirder and weirder, and eventually you're a criminal.
Accuses like a poor person of starting a sex cult.
No, they just go to jail.
Yeah, they don't have the means.
They don't have the means to start it. Even if it was a movement, they just make it kind of religious. But for the most part, no. I always have been flabbergasted that people are worried about rich people getting them in this way when it's always going to be a poor person.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to got by somebody,
100%.
it isn't going to be taking you to an island. It's going to be behind the dumpster at River City Saloon. It's gonna be some awful gotcha from some guy named Hank who has a red dot at his house already.
It could be behind a bar called the Island, but it's not an actual literal island.
Everyone's always so worried about what the rich are doing with their wieners.
Well,
I'm
that's
worried about what the poor are doing.
That's equally as unbelievable as these guys who think that the government is specifically going to show up at their house.
To come get
take
them.
their guns from them. It's like, no, nobody. Also, if they wanted you dead, you'd be dead before you even knew they wanted you dead. They'd kill you with a drone.
What's funny is these dudes, too, they talk about all those people that are worried about their guns. They always know about Ruby Ridge. Do you know about Ruby Ridge?
Yes, of course.
So Ruby Ridge being that the FBI raids this guy's house. And it's awful botched by the FBI where they shoot this guy. But here's the deal is the guy that they got was a Green Beret and a Marine.
Right.
And so that guy who lived at his house with his guns didn't get him. And the guy that works on the line at Amway is like, no, but I'll get him.
Well, also, anything that you can buy as a civilian isn't going to do shit for you.
Well, there's also the idea of going, me with a gun is dangerous, but a guy that really knows how to use a gun is really fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, more dangerous than me, even if I have one. He knows what he's doing, and I've been around him. But the point being is going, if you hand me an M16 and a guy that's actually been to war in M16, that doesn't matter if I know where he is. Once he knows where I'm at, I think he's going to get me first.
Yeah,
you see it all the time. But you know what? I love the hubris. I love the idea of every man being like, nah, I can take on the fucking FBI. I can shoot down the militias. It's proud.
Yeah, you watch too many action movies.
But deep down, isn't it just what we want? We want to have that one day where you go, you know what they did? Every man wants that one story where they go, they came to my house and they said, come out or I'll kill you. And you know what I did? I came out and I killed them. It's the most caveman, ancient, we love it story. All men just thump their chest for wife and kid.
I'm too much of a beta. They'd be like, come out or we'll kill you. And from behind the door, I'd be like, okay, I'm gay.
I'll send my wife out. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Take the wife and kid.
You want the horses? Who cares? Oh, that's funny as hell.
I do think often about prepping, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But isn't that fun? That's a fun little game to play with yourself. Prep.
Well, I'm a father now, and having a kid, you really do start thinking about stocking up, being armed. A lot of stuff I got to get my wife on board with, but
you just become a Republican when you're a dad.
You really do. Well, and there's a ton of comics who have jokes about it, but you certainly want to have at least a lot of Republican friends if shit hits the fan.
Oh, bro. I live in a small town. God bless Republicans in my town. Now, I don't like them all over the place, but I love the ones in my town.
I don't want to be stuck with a group of body positivity people when the zombies come.
With the guns. Well, I think the body positivity will stay there, but the idea about gender fluidity would get a little tighter in that sense because I think they would decide that the guys are going to go out the line first.
Here's the thing about body positivity is your arteries don't care.
That's true. That's true. Science kind of has got that down to the brass tacks.
So on the inside, you're still very ugly, but no, I at the least want to, like when I go to the grocery store, I'll get like a couple extra cans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I like the idea of it as well, though, because it makes you feel safe. But there is a thing you have to.
Part of it is just an extension of like, if you like camping, you're probably going to like the thought of like.
I live alone and I still love to do it. I can't
being
a bunch
off
of shit.
the grid and like prepping. And I mean, me personally, as soon as I didn't have Wi-Fi, I'd probably keel over.
Oh, God, yeah.
As soon as I didn't have the internet at my fingertips at all times, either through a cell tower or Wi-Fi, I would probably just walk in oncoming traffic.
For me, I think it is. Because I'm a little bit more of an outdoors guy, I consider myself to be rugged. But the minute I lose the last can of mosquito spray, I'm done.
I mean, in reality, I think that, survival would kick into everybody, some more than others, because it's just human instinct.
There'd be so much dry jacking.
But I don't want to be. Well, that's the thing. Is these people that like have the bunkers and stuff outside of these billionaires who are building like luxury bunkers under the ground. Yeah. But the guy who just has like the bunker he put in his backyard, and like he's gonna have the garden and like grow all these things and maybe some livestock and some chickens or whatever. But it's like, what is the end goal? You would just want it to be your family is one of like a few hundred survivors, and now if you're lucky, or you don't know where these people are, so at some point you're like, we got to carry on the human race, and now you've got to fuck your sister or whatever the case may be.
I think they don't even think of the end game. The idea is just going, I'm going to outlive my goddamn neighbor Sam, that idiot.
I don't know, man. Like the Titanic sinking, I would rather be somebody who goes down with the ship than like the guy who just froze to death on a door.
Oh yeah, like you wanted to be the guys that played the violin the whole way down.
Well, no, I don't have the talent to play an instrument, but
I'll sit on the deck chair.
You're just doing shitty stand-up comedy in the
Wouldn't that be
in the lounge as the ship goes down?
If the whole time
mid punchline, the water's
that would be hilarious. That everyone just tried to do the thing they loved, like the violin guy. They see him down the line. It's actually a great idea for a sketch.
Yeah.
The men down the line as the Titanic sinking, deciding to play Mozart, and you just go. So the Chinese invented a blowjob machine,
and also that's the difference. And I'm sure bands are pretty like backstabby too, but like comics will abandon each other immediately.
Oh my God.
There's not a lot of loyalty. You can get booted off a show, and within 10 minutes your best friend's like, I'll do it.
I'll take it. Who dropped? Degi? Oh yeah, I got him.
Oh, he's literally dead? All right.
What I love
is get
is
rid of the body and I'll be there.
There's also a little bit of added salt in that wound when a comic comes up after you and go, hey man, there's really nothing I could do. They just called me. I didn't know. And you're like, yeah, but you know now, and you're just saying you're gonna keep doing it.
Oh yeah.
People are lovely. It's not everybody, but it's somebody, some people.
Yeah.
But that's all right. Oh my God. Being a prepper though, it's the can idea. I like the idea of canning. Like even if it's not for prepping, I just like canning shit,
or putting stuff in mason jars. You gotta have obviously a lot of water. Batteries too. They always say to have fucking batteries, but like I don't even have that much stuff.
But what do you get?
Requires batteries.
Batteries ain't gonna get us the Wi-Fi.
A generator would be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a gas.
But that's
powered?
the thing, though. It's like, what do you? If shit really hits the fan, electricity is not gonna matter.
Yeah.
Right. Other than like, I guess, entertainment in your own house or lights. Like, what do you? You don't need it, is what I'm saying.
One of the scariest
guys.
You don't
have the internet.
You don't need it. The thing is, who gives a shit about having the batteries? You're living a non-electronic candle life at that point. You just have to accept it, you know? But one thing that my buddy said, and this is like the scariest friend I have. He's one of those guys that he's never makes threats or nothing. He's just an imposing person, right? I came over to his house and he was working on a diesel engine, literally underneath a tractor fixing the engine. And I was talking to him about a real live man. And we were talking about the preppers and what you would do with them. And I said, what would you do? And he goes, nothing. And he keeps ratcheting. And I was like, why? And he goes, I'll wait. I'll let them build up all their shit. I'll go over there and I'll take their shit. I thought, oh my God. Well, I know who I'm going to hang out with during the time. I'm just going to go over there with Tyler.
I think it's pretty cool that your neighbor was Sam Elliott. I think that's pretty awesome.
Exactly. Right. All my neighbors are Sam Elliott in my hometown.
Yeah,
or they were Vietnam
Those
vets.
Those are the friends you want, though. Mm-hmm. You know, you want a guy who is, knows what he's doing with fixing cars. That's another thing I think about too. Is just like as a comedian, how fucking worthless you'd be.
God,
because
you want offering nothing.
You want to be a doctor or a mechanic, or a surgeon, somebody in the medical field, or even somebody was like a farmer, or
just some skill set.
Yeah, you got to have something to offer. What am I gonna?
And especially modern day comedians, because
You're just standing on the hood of a car with a microphone not even plugged in, and just come on, hey.
You guys know what it's like to be me, don't you? Come on. That's the other thing, is the attempt is to tell people who you are, not even to be about the group.
Nobody's policing the room and kicking hecklers out after the apocalypse.
No, and the hecklers are armed in that case too, which would be a lot of a big problem. If it were me and I was in that situation and there were comedians around, I think I'd just make them sit with the kids. Just do whatever the kids are doing. Roll these blocks around. Play with that hoop.
I don't know, dude. I'm thinking about some comics in my head, and I'm not going to trust them with the kids.
I would. Yeah, actually, I'd have to have someone to go over there to sit to watch the comedians with the kids.
I don't even mean what you're thinking.
No. You just mean they're reckless.
Yeah, I don't even mean real bad catch a predator stuff. I just mean they're idiots. They're irresponsible.
I know of some people. If we left them alone in a kitchen, they'd get peanut butter all over their face and shit. Just be sitting in their diaper on the floor. I know them. Yeah, I know who you're talking.
They just got the jar around their entire mouth and nose, just trying to tongue it out. And it's like, dude, there's spoons right there in the drawer.
They don't know how to use spoons. Some of them.
Not a lot of these guys.
God, there's a lot of fun about the scene and how it is set up. But when you are in something like this, it's got to be the same as bands. I have empathy for people who are in bands, because everybody is as pretentious as a comedian is in a band, but they all are doing it together. Oh my God.
You got to split the money. Well, and it requires teamwork, obviously, and a collaboration where comics really fucking struggle with that.
Yeah.
If we had to perform together, which some comics do, there's some comics who do a stage thing together, but yeah, you're right.
Stage stuff together can be fun and cheeky, but if it became 10 to 15% of the comedy world, I wouldn't want that.
This is stuff that people really need to know.
I feel there may be more divas in bands than comics.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly some narcissists in comedy, but I think to the level of obviously you've got more to have a big head about if you're the lead singer of a band.
Yeah. Or the major
women want to sleep with you.
But if you're the drummer, you get play.
You do. Still more than a comic.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. So
even the one-armed one for Def Leppard.
There's going to be more egos when you're more desirable,
Yes.
And it's cooler. It's weird to me when comics, because you can only name the comics who were quote unquote cool.
Yeah.
Well, Jesselnick is the modern day. He's cool and handsome. Chappelle is a level of he's legitimately
he's definitely cool, but he's jazz cool.
Yeah. And he still finds a way to be self-deprecating enough where he makes fun of himself enough that it's he's not necessarily, he just knows that he's Chappelle and people admire and respect him. So he doesn't have to try to be cool.
Yeah.
But there's comics that are that's they're you could tell they're trying to be cool, and it's that's not what comedy is.
Yes.
Right?
They're trying to do something else other than be funny.
I wouldn't want somebody to come to the show and be well, the guy didn't make me laugh, but he is pretty cool.
Yeah.
No.
What I don't
I want people to think I'm a moron. I don't care.
I want
just
you
laugh.
to think I'm a dummy. I'd rather you play. This is a straight up cut off of old Norm Macdonald, but you play the everyman. I don't want you to think I think I'm smarter than you. I want you to think you're smarter than me. It helps everything. Everything goes my way when which is true, that I'm dumber than you are, and I'm just saying things. If
ignorance is bliss.
The worst for me is there's one. You mentioned it right. They weren't very funny, but I thought they were cool. There's also this one, and I don't like this one at all because they weren't very funny, but they made a good point. Then go to a debate.
Nobody cares, dude. You can't lose the objective to be funny, right? Like you can do both, where you can talk about politics or anything polarizing and make a point while making it funny. But at the end of the day, as a comic, the objective has to be to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you've lost the point of.
Yeah.
And then you're just on your soapbox yelling, and nobody gives a shit.
The most true thing.
You don't want to be that guy.
No,
or
you
that
don't.
Girl.
The most true thing about my comedy is that it is dumb. That I'm not smart
Same.
about. I'm
I'm a
not smart
moron.
about it. Now, here's the thing that works for me though too is going. Having said that, it's also true off stage that I am dumb. And I
Yeah.
don't want to learn.
And you
I
can
don't want
be-
to learn nothing at Tip Top on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. I want you to make me laugh.
Yeah. Well, and you can't just connect, being an idiot or wanting people to think you're an idiot and just kind of being a moron on stage with like not being confident. You can be the confident idiot,
Oh,
that's what you want.
That's actually in our regular life. What's the funniest thing?
Yeah,
than the
you can't
confident
associate
idiot?
being dumb with like not being confident.
A guy walking off trying to.
As a matter of fact, I think the dumbest people are the most confident.
They always are.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of being human. the beauty of
That's
being
where
human.
I get my confidence is from low IQ.
Man,
For sure.
nothing rattles the cage more in absurdity than having the dumbest people
But
think
look
they
at
can
all
do
the
it.
people that have accomplished things just with their confidence.
Well, that's really what a lot of people pull it on. A con man, the best.
Like the phrase, walking like you own the places.
Yeah, real.
It was started for a reason.
Yeah.
There used to be a guy who did a show. I don't even want to try to say his name because it's either the wrong guy or I'll say his name wrong. But he would legitimately just sneak into places because it's like he got to the sideline of the Super Bowl just by acting like
he should be.
He should be there.
Yeah.
Fake. He may have had like a fake credential or something, but like if you just act like you're supposed to be there,
Yeah. That's it.
Most people are, other than like security, are passive aggressive where they're not going to ask questions. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that's how most men get
Everything.
laid.
Everything. We get it all.
It's
No.
just bullshitting your way into intercourse.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's the fake it till you make it part of it for sure. Yeah, it is. It's wild. Like Shane Gillis has talked about doing that too, where he stepped over and made it into the line with groups of people up to the sidelines and just fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But also, I love a good con. Like con men, they're my favorite.
Oh,
I love
the
con men.
documentaries on con men and shit like that fascinate me because it's just like
so
wow.
good.
Well, first of all, they really made you like Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Catch Me If You Can.
Frank Abagnale.
When in reality,
He's a little shit.
He's kind of a piece of shit.
He's a little fucker is what he is. Frank
but
Abagnale in real life's a
also
little bastard.
incredibly smart.
He's forging checks.
Incredibly smart and talented, and like most con men or women, I think you're probably above average intelligence, right?
Yeah, or at least your ability to
You're good at
understand manipulation.
Persuading, manipulation, and you're a really good liar.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Con man is just short for the confidence man. It's the ability to
Yeah.
appear like you know what you're saying. Can I tell you about my favorite con man of all time?
Please.
His name is Sir Gordon Gordon. He was around in the 1800s when the railroads were getting built in the U.S., right? He started by stealing a bunch of jewels in Britain. His small con game was he shows up in Britain wearing full Scottish garb. Like he's Scottish as shit, like cartoonishly Scottish. And he's like, I've got ancestors in Scotland. And he pitches this whole thing how he's related to these Scottish royals.
The Scots.
And that he will wire them the money to get the jewels, but because of his namesake, he wants the jewels now. And yeah, thank you. This is him, Lord Gordon. So
Dude, that's also just a sweet name.
So yeah, so
that would actually be a really good rap name
he
for
made
a white
it up.
guy.
They don't even know what his real name is. Only they know him as Sir Lord Gordon. Now, when he goes in Britain, he steals all these jewels, but his whole game is to move, and this is before the internet and people knowing. So he goes from Britain, he takes the money that he got from the jewels and all the jewelry, pawns that off for some real money to have a backing to make him look like he's a rich Scottish person who arrived in the U.S. with money to finance the railroads. So he starts shouldering in the minute he gets there with high society in New York, runs into the owner of one of the railroads. I can't remember what the name is. It'll be on here. His Swindles in America. Let me look at it real quick. J.B. Gould. Yeah, so Gould was like this big magnate. Sir Gordon fakes him out and says, I'm a rich guy from Scotland. He gives him the whole deal. And he memorized the Scottish lines like hundreds of years back so he could say this and they could fact check him way back further than they could look. And so he basically cons him and says, I'll invest in your railroad.
And this is back when, how good was the fact checking?
No, not good at all. They'd be lucky to look like two people
you'd
deep.
You'd look over your right shoulder and ask whoever's standing next to you, hey, is this true?
Exactly. So this guy, what I'm about to tell you, this story gets progressively more and more insane every run. So he fools Gould into saying that he's going to invest in the railroad, and his family is very wealthy, like could invest maybe 25% of what's needed for the next railroad line across America. And Gould just jumped ship for it, loans him like $2 million in the 1800s, like a bribe, just gives him $2 million as like a sweeten the deal right now, and then gives him a tour across all of America on the railway system. Lord Gordon hanging with him in the best rail car, drinking, getting all fucked up. So then he breaks off and he tries to run away after he cons and gets the $2 million. He says he's going to invest and he doesn't. Gould catches him. He sends goons out to catch him, brings him back to New York, and he stands trial for it. Convinces the judge that he is who he says he is, gets released on bond, takes the money, runs to Canada. Gould goes to get him in Canada and organizes a militia to go in Minnesota and go up to get him because they find out after 4 years he's hiding in Canada. When those guys go up and go into Canada to get him, Canada is basically like, that's an act of war. You're attempting to take a Canadian citizen. And Minnesota's state militia and their governor like told Minnesota to get ready to go up there and go to war over this. And so they eventually, when they find him in Canada, find out that because of the connection between Canada and Britain, that he actually had stole money from Britain. And they finally catch him. And they're about to take him back to Britain to take for full trial. And he was like, all right, guys. They caught him at this party he was having at his house because he knew they were coming. And then he was like, all right, let me go in the back, grab my hat. And they're like, okay. Goes in the back, grabs his hat, grabs his gun. Boom, gone. Never paid for it. Lived like 40, like maybe 10 to 15 good years as a millionaire con in the 1800s.
That's awesome.
Dude. That guy, he almost started a literal war between Canada and the U.S. to go get him.
So where is he actually from?
They think he was from Scotland originally.
Okay.
But when he showed up,
he would actually have a Scottish accent. Then he didn't have to like do the accent.
No, he had like a Scottish accent, but he had studied the lineage of this one Scottish family and their lordship so deep and so thoroughly that when he went up to the judge, he like gave the whole spiel, and he convinced the judge to let him, because Gould was like, this guy. What's funny, this is the ironic thing, is Gould took him to jail basically like, hey, I bribed this guy $2 million and he stole it, and I want you to make him pay. And so he talked his way out and then just runs to Canada. But dude, he swindled what would be, it'd be like if somebody conned Jeff Bezos right now. I mean, it would be that big that he came in there and pretended to be a guy, conned Bezos and dipped and then ran to Canada.
Anybody who's like stealing from the rich, I'm a
God,
fan
yeah.
of.
And I like him too because I'm totally okay with a selfish guy. He wasn't doing that to help nobody. He's just robbing them.
That does sound like an 18th century rapper.
Lord Gordon.
Lord Gordon.
I'll spit on these rhymes, these dirty, dirty times. Dirt on my feet and dirt on my thighs.
Wait, is he Jamaican now?
I don't know. I'm getting more Jamaican because I'm bad at it. But no, I love a good con man.
Oh,
love
absolutely.
The good cons. Gotta love them. So you got some big shows going up in April too.
Quick
now, right?
fact about that. It says that would be worth like $37 million today.
Really?
So it was a $37 million bribe.
Yeah.
Dude, the guy is fantastic. I like a good swindle.
I want to like YouTube this guy later tonight now. I want to.
There's also a guy that this is just some random lore for all you kids out there. Ulysses S. Grant, when he retired from the Army and was president, had a lot of money and went into business with this guy that was running a Ponzi scheme and stole like all of his money. So Grant end up having like cancer, and he had throat cancer and was going to die in like 9 months to a year, I think was what they were saying. And he was going to die like broke. And Mark Twain went up and met with him and made a deal for him to write his autobiographies and gave him like 80% of the kickback. For, like maybe charge him like 20% for publishing and gave the rest to him, and basically reinstilled and got Ulysses S. Grant his money back before he passed away to give to his family, which is pretty crazy. But dude, even the president.
Where do you learn all this
I'm
stuff?
a nerd, bro. I watch a lot of bullshit. I use YouTube to learn bullshit. But he got swindled by some Ponzi scheme fuck that took all of the president's money. So even the president got worked.
Ferdinand Ward.
Ferdinand Ward. That's it. Yeah.
These are like the modern day. These are the modern day guys who get caught in those like cam girl scams.
Man, you know anybody got caught in them?
I know a couple guys, who were both linked to the comedy scene who jerked off on camera in front of somebody else who was on camera or claimed to be. And then basically they
blackmailed him.
Yeah, they say, hey, send me this much money or I'm gonna send all these pictures to everybody in your contacts. Now the first guy is such a shitbag that he's basically just like, I've burned every bridge possible already.
Is this going to be a surprise to anyone?
Not only do I not have the money, but nobody answers my texts anyway. Send them.
Half my Facebook group has seen my dick.
But the other
anyway.
guy, I know they did. They called his. I think he was just like, whatever, I don't care. And they're like, all right. And they sent him and sent him to like his girlfriend's parents and shit.
I do know that guy. I think we know that guy together.
Yeah, we probably do.
But that's not, but that's awful that happened.
Yeah.
And that cam girl scams are the new Lord Gordon.
No, they're
you watch
not.
out for them cam girl scams.
But the guys who were, I guess, I mean, if you could fall for somebody stealing millions of your dollars, then you're probably gullible enough to fall for one of these fake cam girls.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Is
I don't get jerking off on. It's not
on video. I get it.
A girl solo, I think, is hot, but a guy, what's hot about a dude whacking it?
Hey, you know what?
I've caught myself in the mirror. Have you ever been whacking in a hotel room and you
ruin the whole
catch
experience.
a glance of yourself in the mirror?
There was a time
because it's like somebody walking in on you, but also you walking in on somebody else.
It's an alarming thing
time.
to see yourself.
You get the embarrassment of both parties.
Yes, it's an alarming thing to see yourself in a way you didn't expect.
Oh, it never, because you're not camera ready.
No,
you're not. Your posture's never great,
dude.
Mine's not, at least.
No.
I'm hunched over like an old man. I'm not. It's not like.
There's a
your
time.
pecs aren't out.
There's a
It's
time where I was
bad.
at a Motel 6 and I was in the shower. I was finishing her off, drawing the water down, and I was just like, "Yeah, you just finish it up."
When there wasn't a girl there.
This is me on my own,
Just the
embarrassing
act.
myself,
Yeah,
scaring
yeah,
myself. Whip open the door, and when I look, the mirror is actually directly over it. And then I caught myself in hand and was just like, who the fuck is that?
It's the worst sight.
It was terrifying. I just didn't realize. I was like, I got wider sides than I thought.
There's a difference between like your sex face and your cranking it face.
I'm pretty convinced that a woman will only find me attractive 2 feet in. Face actually, if you see me
Come
across,
on, dude, you look like one of the Baldwins, man.
Thanks, Steven, the one that doesn't believe in evolution.
Yeah,
thanks. No, I just do. I think I think that I'm not across the bar attractive, but I can make you think I'm cute if I'm kissing you.
Yeah. So,
but I gotta work my way in there. I gotta be ugly funny to get that. But
because you're so close. It's like like being at the bottom of like a really big like statue or like piece of art where you can't until you see the whole thing. You don't really know what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's just like looking at the nipples of the statue of David. You know, it's like getting up and in there. You know, the whole thing's beautiful from a distance.
As soon as you initiate like fooling around or intercourse, you're just.
I get in there. Face. She goes to
like,
look left, right at my face. I'm like, "Where are you going? What you doing?" Eye contact.
She's like, "Okay,
keep it with me. Keep it with me. Eyes on me."
All right. I'll try.
That's what I do. I try to fall in love with them. That's what I try to do.
Yeah, it's a bad idea.
It's always a bad idea.
It's a real bad idea.
So the real lesson though is we got to avoid cam girls. Any man should not be videotaping themselves, no matter what she says.
If a window pops up and is like, "Hey, I'm so and so, and I want to watch you jerking off while I masturbate. It's just assume. I don't know if it's because I'm getting closer to 40 or because I'm a married man, but any request I get from a female via any of the platforms,
skepticism.
I just assume it's fake.
Yeah, you're not real.
And especially if the girl is above a 5.
Straight up.
And like we don't want to put numbers on people, but like we all.
But if she's above a 5,
we all know what above a 5 is in your own head. It can be your own version of whatever's above a 5.
Yeah, we all know.
So if that person sending you a request is your version of what above a 5 is, just know as a guy, especially a dude that does comedy, that it's probably not a real person.
No, it never is. And also, whenever I get a request. The only way I know it's real is if it's a woman that's the level that should be attracted to me asking.
Yeah,
that's when I know it's real.
Also, look at their mutual friend. If they have like 1 or 2 friends total, and it's a hot woman,
and you roll it down, it's just one video of them breaking bread.
She's real.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, you're gonna have an instant 100K followers on Instagram if you post one bikini pic. So
I think you got to be worried about it being a real girl.
It's always the same sad sacks falling for that, though.
To me, what it is it's a real sexy way for a girl to be like, give me a loaded gun that I can shoot you with in the future. And you're like, sure. Because, dude, that's never going to be a good thing. Some lady that you don't know that you're not with for life has a video of you doing something heinous to yourself, thinking you're being attractive. The weaponry, man. The weaponry.
I don't know what I would... if the goal is not only you wanna you wanna finish and you think that you're turning that other what are you saying, or like what's your pose, what's your face? I don't even know what I would do.
I think I'm just...
How could you be comfortable even? I don't want anybody watching me.
This has to do with being a con man. How confident are you jerking off on camera? Could you pull it off? Could you, in this...
My old man walked in on me cranking it once.
Did you pretend to not be?
Well, there was no way. I was like,
it was dick
I was
in hand.
sitting in like the desk chair in the computer room, probably with my. I'm sure my pants were around my knees.
Yeah, back.
Hey, what are you doing in here? Anything but jerking off.
Back when you were a kid, you full pants down jerked off at the computer, but as you get older, you realize it only has to be a half master.
I think I was 29. This is shortly before my dad passed away.
I was only 29.
No, I was a young lad, probably early into my 20s or late teens. And there was no way avoiding it. I mean, this is DVD days. It's not like I had my phone and I could just easily
it's the laptop cranking in.
You know how slow a DVD comes out of a DVD player?
Oh, my God. I wasn't doing anything. God, technology was such a bitch to the 90s kids.
You know, he tried to be such a good father. I think I can remember him, saying something about it's bad to watch that stuff, and then like I snapped the DVD like fine, and then immediately after snapping the DVD, and like I was like, that was the biggest mistake of your life.
Why did I do that?
Why did you do that?
Why didn't I negotiate my way out of that? Yeah. My mom didn't understand burn CDs and how you can burn them and recreate them. So she one time, because she'd like to police us a little bit with she wanted to know it's not policing. She wanted to know what the hell we were listening to sometimes in our cars. So she'd grab a couple CDs and then listen to them. And she grabbed like 3 of my mixtapes, and it had like Little John on there, and it had Get Low on there.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it had it also had Slow Motion, Juvenile, and it had that one with the girl that was like my neck, my back, lick my crack. That crazy shit. So
why didn't you say pussy?
It scares me even to this day at 36. No, but so anyways, when there's something wrong about talking about my mom and saying the word pussy in the same story to me.
Yeah. I forgot.
Think that's what it is.
I forgot the part about your mom.
I think that
I
is
had
part
already
of it.
moved on to the images, because remember when you used to connect a song with a music video?
Absolutely.
You don't do that anymore.
No, because when I think Juvenile Slow Motion, I think of the coolest party that happened in Louisiana of all fucking time that I never got to get to because I was only 12 and I would have loved to be there.
My brother, one time, he'll appreciate me bringing this up, but he got caught for printing out like a graphic it wasn't just like the romance novels your mom read in the bath.
It was a dirty.
It was like
a fantasy
explicit, like a fantasy novel. And I'm like, you've been reader baiting, dude.
Your brother's into reader baiting?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like first
he just
of all,
like to imagine
first of all,
it.
reading's gay.
Yeah.
So
he's
what kind of book was it? No, he and also just the ink. That's how he got caught. Was like there's no ink left in the fucking printer, dude.
Gonna have to head down to Staples to get more ink. What's going on here? It checks the printer.
The paper was scarce, and I think my mom was like, "Oh, where's this all going?" And then she just found a stack of dirtiness.
You printed 50 pages on our best glossy stock.
It's good for him, dude. Like maybe he was trying to remember the old Pizza Hut reading thing. Like maybe that was one of the books he needed to complete to get that pan pizza.
For us in middle school, it was AR, accelerated readers. He maybe wanted to get some AR points. You do get them for reader baiting. I have never heard of a young middle or like teenage young man that read.
And he's not. He's certainly smarter than me.
Well, God.
But I wouldn't. You'd think of a kid doing that being like real into
hentai,
real
cartoon
into
porn,
yeah,
weird stuff.
Yeah, anime.
Yeah, same shit. That stuff's goofball. Devron Thomas was on the last episode, and we were talking about that, or a couple episodes ago.
Anime,
and he was convinced he could show me an anime that would make me like it, because I get what he's trying to say. He's like anime is a whole style of
like hot girls,
cartoons.
Right?
It's cartoony weird shit to me. I'm sorry, people who love anime, but when I was a kid,
I've never got into it.
I watched Cartoon Network and I changed it on Dragon Ball Z. And when I found out black people loved Dragon Ball Z when I got to college, I was like, man, I made a mistake. Every black person knows who Goku is.
This wasn't in the pamphlet.
Dude, I would have never guessed black people loved Goku until I got to college.
I knew that, obviously Wu-Tang was super into...
Yes.
Into
like hentai art and hentai, or not hentai, I'm sorry, anime. Like probably hentai, though. That's
Kung Fu movies
porn
and stuff, right? They were super into Kung Fu and all that stuff. But
I just didn't I didn't realize the Japanese connection.
I did not know that you claim part of black culture is Dragon Ball Z.
I didn't know that. I didn't know until I got there.
What if Joe Biden said you're not black unless you're in Dragon Ball Z?
You listen to Dragon Ball Z balls in their court, tennis balls. There's Dragon Ball Z tennis balls. That guy's a fucking idiot, bro. I'm not saying to not vote for him, because obviously I don't think I have a choice.
Listen,
but dude,
we don't have a lot of good options.
I had a time, and this is a little.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Dude, he had one where they're going for me hard. They're going for me hard on my YouTube right now, between the pro-Trump, pro-Biden ones. Mm-hmm. But the Biden one is just him. It's just him popping up, and he just goes, Donald Trump is obsessed with greed and vengeance, and
I saw this
taking back our country. It's just like, dude, you are.
Do you remember when we thought?
Terrible.
I mean, I was always very uninformed when I was younger, and I also just didn't care. Ignorance is bliss. But I can remember people would make fun of George W. Like he at the time was like a bad public speaker.
Yeah.
And now he's like fucking. Kendrick Lamar,
dude. If
the verbiage compared to the last two presidents.
Now watch this drive.
Yeah.
Dude, we will not stop until we attack all of these terrorist killers. Now watch this drive.
Yeah,
that's America, baby. What it is bombing Iraq for 1 week and showing up on a tanker, on a full air flight tanker with mission accomplished on it, wearing your air shit, dude. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Even though he is considered, like at the time you said, you're right. They thought he wasn't well spoken.
This guy's a buffoon.
He was a buffoon, but look at the degradation,
dude.
Like
I said, he's like a poet.
Okay, so if you look, these two guys, look at these two guys and how they're acting with each other, right? It's just atrocious. But
they're old as dirt. Both of them are old as dirt.
In the 80s, when Ronald Reagan was running, he was the oldest guy running of all time at that time, because he was like, I think 79 or almost 80. I mean, he was up there. And then his opponent was like 77. And they said, like, the one guy brought up, the guy that asked the question said, like, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, JFK had to stay on the phone for over 12 hours. With your age, do you think that would affect you, or is that something that you can accomplish? And Reagan said, it was beautiful, dude. He goes, I'm not going to let age infect any of this campaign, especially my opponent's young age and inexperience. Who's like 4 years younger than him. And the crowd just laughs. And you think, dude, that level of tact and understanding of the situation with what we have now is gone. Neither one of our boys that we got going could even be that cool and funny.
Honestly.
And Reagan kind of sucked.
Legitimately, like, people say it as a joke, but like, what if Arby's hire a 77-year-old dude to manage the place?
Would you have confidence in the Arby's?
They wouldn't.
No,
They
there'd
would
be
not.
mutiny.
You couldn't legally tell the person you're not hiring because of their age now, but they 100% probably. Have you ever
He'd
saw
limit the menu
a
down to
dude
just the
almost
roast
80
beef?
in charge of anything else? I mean, other than like a company that they own.
And even in that case,
That
a lot of
person
people are like,
has
let's
retired.
scoot 'em.
Most fucking people retire. Why do you even want to work anymore?
Oh, God, it's actually bizarre.
Yeah.
Who's it for? Who's it for?
Who gets to 65 with the money to retire and doesn't?
And goes, yeah, no.
Like, if you're still doing something to make money, whether it's a side venture or a company, and you're still working, but like, to want to do politics in general sound awful.
Just get a hobby.
Just the anxiety alone, I feel like.
Go golf. Do something else.
I mean, you got to wonder how much time either one of them have left.
No, and here's the thing is, I'm not even political about this shit. I just think it's crazy where we're at.
You don't have to be.
We're just crazy where we're at. The other thing that's weird is that as bad as, in my opinion, as bad as one side has been about throwing the cake away in terms of trying for this thing called democracy, as much as the right just goes, we don't care. If we lose, we won. As much as that sucks, we also have another group that doesn't seem to understand that running an 80-year-old fart is not a good idea, and you could think of a different option.
How don't we have better options though?
We do. They just don't. They're just terrible.
I understand there's better options, but they're not gonna.
No,
they're not gonna run.
No, it's just
they're not gonna win the nomination.
The whole thing's old. Did you see Mitch? You see Mitch McConnell freeze like the turtle that he is, and almost have to go.
All
in a
these
shell?
people are old as dirt. That's what I'm saying. There's no reason any of these people should be in the position that they're in.
Oh no, they're very old.
And how can't we push better candidates on either side that are younger forward?
Yeah, God, I don't know. I think we need to allow some. I honestly think if it's an 80-year-old person and we're worried about, I think we shouldn't be worried about their age, or we should be as worried about their age as if we just put in a young influencer. What's
Has
the difference?
anybody? This is probably a stupid question, but I don't have the brain you do. As far as you seem to be, you're into history.
Oh, I'm a good con man.
No, you just know a lot of stuff, right? You got a lot of knowledge.
It's a Jeopardy knowledge, I call it.
Has a president died just like of age or other than assassination during his term? It's obviously happened.
Yeah, there's been a few. I don't know of exactly how many. I think there's been a couple, but I think Woodrow Wilson either died or was absolutely incapacitated, because for at least like 6 to 8 months of his presidency, I don't think he died. I think he went like goofy, like in a bed, not even able to talk. His wife took over and started signing and writing all his shit for him, and she basically was president.
I can see now. I'm picturing Joe Biden.
I'm Joe Biden. Joe Biden's cars. Cars drive fast. Fast cars rides drives. Driving the shaft of the cars. Dude, he's losing his mind.
Yeah, he's old, man.
I remember there's a time where I came up and I taught my grandma. We went to see her, and I came with my buddy. And when we got to the door, she opened the door and she looked at us and she went, "Oh, I saw you at the parade." And we were like, Grandma, we weren't at a parade. And she goes, "Yeah, you were on front. You were going like this." And we were like, I think we got to get Grandma checked out. Now, that was one thing Grandma said. Mm-hmm. And we already thought, let's reduce responsibility for Grandma.
You're immediately ready to put her in a home.
Yeah. A week after that, she asked me, we were watching MLB baseball, and she asked me what team I played on. And so we knew she was done being the matriarch of the family. She was demoted
Joe
immediately.
was like, Grandma, would you shut the fuck up?
I told her I played third base. I told her I was Rollins. I was like, I'm right there. I'm on third. But no, the point is,
see that pitcher with the bulge in his pants?
That's
me,
him.
Grandma.
That big old pitcher. But no, the whole idea being that it doesn't take much for you to know when it's slipping.
Dude, and I think it's so weird to just ignore red flags because you're voting for that side.
Well, or you're just
like common knowledge is like, oh no, that of course he's got dementia. Something.
Yeah, they do. I think that you can't do this because
he's senile to a certain extent.
Yeah, and you can't be honest because to be honest, you would have to just say what the truth is.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is, if it were me, and I would lose the campaign probably, but I think you just be honest. You go up there and you go, listen. We all know that it ain't him that's running this. It's the cabinet around him.
Also,
and our cabinet and Orange Hair's cabinet is one knows how to run this thing, and the other one doesn't. So
the ego
the
and pride and
cabinet.
narcissism around not being able to just like admit like, oh, I can't, I probably can't do this, and somebody else should.
Yeah. Well,
it's like the boxer who won't admit
quit.
that their career's over and they keep going out there and just getting fucking pummeled.
Yeah, and they keep just taking fights and taking fights.
Yeah,
they end up being
like, dude, you've lost a lot of steps and you should stop.
It is crazy that Biden, if he would have ended and not ran the second time, would have ended on a really crazy high trajectory and managed to do it. But this is rough.
I mean,
but hey, shit. Worse has happened. That's the other thing that people have to worry about when you're saying like more divided.
Well, yeah,
that people have a false sense of what division
there's
is.
a lot of fear mongering on both sides, right? Where it's like, if this person gets the election, this is going to happen. But if this person does, it's going to be this. Both scenarios, if you listen to a lot of people, are the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one side is sunshine and rainbows, the other is hell and buttholes.
Yeah,
and that's it. And that's how you have to choose. But I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure out the whole damn thing. I will say this is a small, little, interesting note. Again, I've been, just so you know, the reason why when you were saying that you had mentioned that you feel like you're becoming more Republican a little. No, as a joke.
I'm
but no,
I've taken a couple steps to the right. Yeah, 100%.
All I can say is that I've been watching a lot of Civil War documentaries too, and the one thing is, I found out that the first president that ever even ran to say like, I should be president, you should pick me, was the guy that ran against Lincoln during the Civil War. Because before that, it was like ungentlemanly to say you should be it. You needed to have other people say it for you, and you kind of acted like, oh guys, I can't. I can't. It'd be the worst if I did. I won't. And like, if you think about it, as much as it seems silly to have done it, that would protect you from like a wild, raging narcissist taking over the whole thing. But hey, wild, raging narcissists have had a hold of it before.
And it's a stupid way to do it because the world outside of comedy is much bigger and much more important. But like a lot of the things that irritate me are from the view of the comedy world, where I'm just like, all right, I think it's.
Well, that's the world we're in, so that's the world we're exposed to the most with people's political views. Like, what's weird for me is the absolute complete flip in values and ideas of people from my hometown to when I'm down here and I talk to people in comedy, which is both have unique and interesting ideas.
Well, when it comes to,
my God, they're so
specifically
funny.
From a comedy perspective, where it's like, just because you don't like something a comedian talks about or makes jokes about doesn't mean that they shouldn't be able to do that.
That's right. Yes, and that there's not a right way.
It also doesn't mean, just because you don't think it's funny doesn't mean a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, and there's not a right way to do it, which is, that's the way to think about it. Because we all do it a different way, but it's from making it, this is way too artsy for what I think comedy is, but if you take it to the analogy of painting, it's like everybody's thought of painting a sky. But there's only one starry night, as in like how you paint it is your style.
Well, what's crazy too is it's like, it's the people that are acting like comedians saying offensive things or things that they don't agree with is like an actual issue. And it's hypocritical because these are the same people who make fun of the other side for like always fear-mongering and making things into issues that really aren't, like drag queens. But then you want to cancel all these comedians, or you act like these comedians, you know, making fun of people or doing whatever they're doing that you don't find is funny because it's offensive, or you feel like it's hurting people. You act like that's an actual issue.
So what
among all the other fucking issues.
It's not. No, it's what not. It is it's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
It's low-hanging fruit because if you think people are racist, you know where racists are.
Yeah.
We know where racists really are. You can go find them and fight with them, 100%. But it's a lot easier to fight with somebody that agrees with you that you could say is acting out of line. Mm-hmm. So the comedians are the lowest hanging fruit of that for every group and every crowd.
I just hate how both sides now are just like, well, you're right, but you're not right enough, or you're left, but you're not left enough.
And
you got to be
be
exactly as far as they are.
Yeah. Well, and that's why for me, I just look at it where it's like, they used to call it circular firing squad back in the day, right? Like, we're not the droids you're looking for. Comedians aren't even pretentious comedians will say this, and I tell them they're wrong. We aren't the driving force of anything. We aren't driving thought anywhere. I don't care what anyone says. Even somebody is great.
The whole like modern day philosopher thing.
Oh, come on, go fuck yourselves. Come on, dude. We are the lowest.
Maybe like three of us.
We are on the lowest rung level of society that exists and persists. Well, we aren't guiding anyone anywhere. Just look at the
amount of people who think they can do stand up. That alone should tell you that, you know.
It's a low art. It's an art of the masses, and
people don't respect it probably as much as they should because everybody thinks they can fucking do it.
Well, and there's the talent to do it, right? Mm-hmm. But it's also just the general idea of if you're thinking that because I have an audience and a voice to speak out to.
You don't have to learn an instrument. You don't have to learn anything. I just got to go up there and talk. That's easy. The guys at work said I'm funny. I can do that.
And I think what happens with that is that what you learn is funny amongst your friends is funny, and it's a version of funny. Mm-hmm. But then you have to convert that, like Rosetta Stone, into a language that converts over to talking to an audience.
Yeah.
That's a different way of talking. So it's literally learning a new language of how you package and tell your stories and your jokes. So you have to learn it, right? But anyone who gets too offended with comedy, I don't even really have a problem with them. I think there's ineffective at change as I am at change, and I think we're all just kind of circle jerking together. Mm-hmm. They're coming to me and telling me what I said is wrong, and I'm going, I think all of us are doing nothing together right now.
Right.
Any comic that has the belief that they're moving the dial, I disagree with, and any person that thinks they're moving the dial by fighting comedians, I disagree with.
There's things that should be off limits, like you shouldn't slurs, things that have an actual history of hate behind them.
I'm not a carte
and
blanche
meaning
guy.
to them, but like, I don't know. We just got to get to, it's like, you can't make fun of anything anymore.
The only thing I'll connect a modern day philosophy to is just this idea.
Like if I can talk about having stage 4 cancer and talk about it as if it's funny, then you can fucking
you can pull it off.
You can take a fucking, a random joke about somebody
about
who's
public
overweight
schools,
or something.
Or about public schools.
Or a homeless person.
Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake.
And from the only philosophy in comedy I would take is, I believe that the best comedian could tell a joke about anything. Mm-hmm. Now, I say that I chose my words exact there.
And a lot of them have, yeah.
And so the best comedian, or comedians, but it's a type upper echelon group, can take almost anything and make us laugh. Now, we're all attempting to do it, but we all aren't good enough to do it. And when you fall hard. Mm-hmm. So by its nature, there are people who try further than they can go on it. So if you understand the process, it's not to forgive people, but people are attempting something, and it's where they're aiming. So I've heard a lot of bad jokes that didn't go well and made people go, oh my God, why'd you tell? And I don't think it was right that they told it, but their intent on where they're trying to go with what they're saying matters.
There's context and like, you know, where is this person trying to go with this, or you know, not people just hear a word, a specific word, and make a decision whether or not it's okay.
Yes, and that's also because if that's what we know about comedy, then let's make it to match that expectation. Mm-hmm. And what I mean is not to be that way, but people are more rapid fire now. We're looking through stuff fast, so it's got to be faster. There's long form like what we're doing now, and that's a certain group of people that like this, and so they like to listen to it long form.
Well, let's just get right to the point. Here's the problem. Where's the camera?
Yeah, there it is.
Which one?
That one straight with you.
Oh, right here?
Yeah, get with it.
Here's the problem with the gays.
I've always had it. No. I think that the thing is like
P. Diddy apparently.
P. Diddy.
Did you hear?
P. Diddy's had it. Yeah. Have you? What's the accusation?
Never mind the trafficking.
Yeah, I was really upset to hear that he
believe
might be a little gay.
Yeah.
That is sad.
A little
Puff
gay.
Daddy. Man, it is strange what people will put their worries to.
I was trying to do. I never really turned it into a bit, but do you ever watch those videos of like the evangelical like church services where like they're touching people and or
knocking
like
over people?
They heal the people in the wheelchair and then they can stand up and walk.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they do the same thing, like the healing of somebody right there in the service for people who are gay. Because it's crazy to look at like gay being as much of a tragedy as someone who's
like
in a wheelchair for life.
He's poor lady's got diabetes, lost a foot.
Like you're like my uncle has been in a wheelchair his whole life. He can't walk, and you're like, oh yeah. You think that's sad? My uncle's gay.
They're both going to the same revival service.
Yeah.
It's weird to have the categories where there's like, we got diabetics over here, people with cancer here, people who have issues.
You'd think all those people that got
here.
healed, by the touch of an evangelical pastor that can walk now would like start a 5K or something.
You would think they would walk a little more.
There'd be a group of them.
Heck yeah.
I feel like.
Have you ever seen the guy that knocks over everybody with his coat?
I saw videos. Yeah, that shit's
Kyle,
wild.
can you look up a clip of that? It's just,
Dude,
his pastor knocks people over with coat.
I feel like every time I see that, I hear the can.
Yeah, he throws it down, and rows of people fall down when he throws his coat at them. And it's
so
just,
this requires,
that's it. That's right up top.
This requires a lot of actors.
Are you ready for this? This is Benny Hinn's Hinn's magic coat.
I've saw this many times. Yeah, that's viral.
Yeah. We can just watch a little, can't we? Or
are
we in trouble for watching a little?
I mean, as much as I know that that's all total bullshit, it would be entertaining.
Oh, that's all right. We don't have to. Oh God. Here's the thing is, I love believing shit even if it's not real. I don't care. I like playing with it. Look at this. Come on, this is WWE, man. This is WWE for the Lord. Look at this. Look at the showmanship. Look at the showmanship.
That's a nice jacket, too.
His posture, he's one arm in these bitches. Just, you're saved. You're saved. Fuck you, you're saved. God bless you. Look at that. That guy sold it real good. The orange shirt really sold it. He went in hands up to begin with. But he has one where he knocks over the rose. He's pumping him up like Shawn Michaels, bro.
Dude, yeah, it's essentially... It's WWE of churches.
It's church WWE, and honestly, it's entertainment. It's entertainment, and his showmanship is peak. When he does the one where he's got the rows of them, they're waiting for it. They're all just like, oh, and he's walking all tall with his chest. He's looking back and forth. He fakes it a little at him. Yes. God, he'll go, take it. That's the take it guy. Take it! And the power of the Holy Ghost. Look at that one. Ooh, he blew that guy back. Come on, man.
Dude, if somebody could just take the audio from this and play it throughout a cum shot compilation.
Oh my God. I think we found a new camp girl business together. Take it! The power of the Holy Ghost!
Wow, man. That's awesome.
That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanna go to one of those.
Dude, I like that one. And then there was a guy for a long time that wore an earpiece, and his wife, what they would do is people would put their prayers in their prayer writings, and they put it in that day and then walk it back. But his wife and like 10 members of the church would read them all. Mm-hmm. And then it would have their name and their address, or it would have their number and stuff. And he would call their name out with their disability and heal them. And it seemed like he was doing it magically because he'd be like, is there a Karen in the crowd? I'm feeling a Karen Douglas in the crowd, and he'd be like, yes, and he's, Karen, I know you've got the spina bifida. We're gonna get that spina bifida out. Praise Jesus, and he'd grab her head and shit. And dude, that guy purely got away with it for years, racked up millions of dollars until this guy named James Randi caught him. He went on a radio and caught the frequency he was talking to his wife on. And then, because James Randi is a magician that goes around with he has $1 million offer to anyone standing. He passed away, but it was $1 million to anyone that could prove that they were actually telepathic or had actual like supernatural powers, like psychic powers. And so he went after this guy because he showed it. He dialed into the right radio station or the radio frequency and caught his wife being like, Billy, it's me. Can you hear me? Karen Douglas, spina bifida. And he's just ripping her name out, dude. Wow. They were just running a sham with an earpiece, multi-million dollars, like Joel Osteen level con.
Nobody saw the earpiece.
Nobody saw the earpiece because it was a tiny inserted inside his ear one, like inside his ear. And it was like a trick earpiece, you know? And so there was that. That was all the way through the 80s and 90s. But I like I said, man, I love a good con. I'm proud of him.
That's some Lord.
Do you know how organized you got to be?
That's the real Lord
to fuck
Jesus.
over that many people.
Jesus, yeah.
You got to be really organized. That's don't come into my church. We just got new carpets
Lord
during
Gordon,
a hurricane. Shit, that was Joel Osteen.
Oh, is that what the excuse was? The carpets?
New carpets.
Wow.
Yeah, just got new carpets, man. I love mega churches. The irony is just so rich.
The other guy is looks even more possessed. The old man that
guy.
They interviewed him, asking him about his private
behind
jet.
the car.
Yeah,
and he's like, "You don't talk about that." Yeah. That guy is bizarre,
terrifying.
Yeah. And then the other one I really liked was back in the day, Kenneth Copeland. This is him. Oh no. Kenneth Copeland pushes over a man in a wheelchair and walks away.
The day will come, you'll walk out of it. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord. 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 Thank you, Lord.
And now we're gonna wait for the guy. Lord. We're gonna now wait for the guy to get up, though.
He's not hurt. He's not hurt. Praise the God. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
How bizarre and awkward.
Look at that God.
Could you imagine? Okay, you've built your sham up that well. Your con is at that level, and then you have the hubris to believe that maybe, just maybe, you could do it. You could really do it. He knocked him over and then knew at that point, I can't pick him up. I got to wait for the real power of God to come into this man. Kenneth Copeland never prayed harder than when that guy was on the ground that he could stand up.
Yikes.
God, I love me a good
God bless America, huh?
God bless America. This is American history, having goofy Kachu cults and shit. It's always been part of it. The people that they sent over were always, even the ones Britain said they didn't send their favorites.
People are just really gullible, man.
Yeah. You want to believe
this
something.
Is when he loses his mind.
Why do you think that?
No, listen to me just a second. Not the people.
Oh, my.
The main reason is because of the need. If I flew commercial, I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing. That's really the main.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business, but
isn't it the business of
I paid.
Dude, does he have...
Oh, he's so
His
angry.
eyes are so creepy.
He's so mad at her.
Does he have makeup on, too? Like a lot of makeup?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come out here. I'd like to give you a chance.
Oh, yeah. He's got makeup on all the time.
Catch your breath and have a conversation.
Boy, he's
we don't want to catch
mad.
you off guard.
I love Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey, you listening to me? My wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh, yeah.
What in the hell?
With 125,000 people.
Do you ever
He is a bizarre person.
Use your private
He's
jets
like
to
an
go visit your-
if anybody's a real life vampire,
That's it.
it's him, man.
Yeah.
And he's been alive for like
He's making me
700 or 800 years.
Yeah, he's making me believe that
Yeah,
demons are
you
real.
do
That's for
with a
sure.
bunch of demons.
Look at
Do you
him.
really
Look at
believe
him.
that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Oh my.
We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Can you explain
Jesus
what you meant by
Christ.
that term?
What is she?
Wow.
What do you think
That
she
is
was
really
going to try
scary.
to get from him?
Terrifying.
Because he didn't answer anything she was asking.
No.
What do you like? I'd be scared to death if I was her. He's in there in that little black, the black SUV.
Where was the driver?
Staring, waiting. I guess.
Driver's like, I know.
Oh, dude, I ain't gonna be involved in the Inside Edition with Kenneth Copeland.
Yeah, that dude's real scary.
He had that moment
Real
where he
scary.
stopped and he just went and had that snark, and it was like, yeah, that's a hate smile.
It's like all the movie villains you've ever saw.
Yeah, he's truly like Bond villain evil, like fake villain pet a cat, psychotic evil.
Yeah, it's the eyes, man. The eyes and the eyebrows and that smile, that fucking
yeah.
grin. Just
Do you remember in the 90s, because you might be old enough for this, as am I, that there was Tammy Faye Baker and her husband, Kenneth Baker. He was like fooling around with some whores and got caught a few times, but he got caught once and he cried on TV, and Tammy Faye cried and cried through her makeup. And it was like, oh God, they finally got over it. And then it was like 2 years later, he did it again, and he was back up there crying again, trying it. And it was like, all right, Kenneth, we're sick of your shit.
we've seen this
We're
before.
done.
Ken.
Tammy Faye was sitting there a second time, just like, this motherfucker, I'm gonna kill him.
Wow.
I loved it. Gotta love the evangelicals, man. Dude,
They're a fun bunch.
yeah. you got shows coming up in April.
I do. I'm headlining the Underground Laugh Lounge in Niles, Michigan.
Nice.
20th April, 19th April. So the weekend of 420. So.
Oh, we got a little 420 show there.
Yes, sir.
Does Niles allow smoking indoors?
Indoors? I don't think so.
It will be, I'm sure.
But there is a dispensary in town, and I mean, they're everywhere is cannabis friendly now, right? Unless you live
Yeah,
in, like,
hell yeah. Nobody
Russia or
tell
something.
you no. Yeah, what is it? What are we, communists? No way. You can do what you want now. It's open door policy. Even on right now, it seems like fentanyl's pretty legal.
Yeah.
from what I'm experiencing.
It's flowing in the streets.
Heck yeah. All right, so yeah, you got Niles in April. You got any other shows coming up in April, or any other fun projects you're working on?
My buddy Zach Martina and I just started sketches under the name Smooth and Bushy.
Nice.
I'm bald and he's got a lot of hair.
You're smooth, he's bushy.
That's the joke, yeah.
Cute. I like it.
So we'll be putting those out every week, and a few more shows at the end of the month in April. I couldn't tell you where they are.
No, that's for Smooth and Bushy. Is that going to be up on YouTube, or is it
all
on
the
Instagram
platforms.
Okay.
YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, obviously, until they ban TikTok. So
Yeah, we are. Are we doing that? Is that happening? They gonna ban that?
it sounds like they keep passing stuff, getting closer to that being the result. Yeah.
Do you work with TikTok? You've got it as a platform and do really well on it as well. I get why though.
I don't mind TikTok. TikTok is definitely not for people my age, but more so now than it was, and it's more scrolling than any. I think you get less interaction than the other platforms.
Yeah.
But people are strictly on there to scroll.
Well, and it's
You're
weird.
not finding friends on TikTok. Not anybody my age. But
No, hell no. We ain't finding no friends.
People it's intended for. Yeah.
Yeah. No, isn't that reason because it's a Chinese
They say
app?
the Chinese are stealing our information.
Well, of course
yeah.
they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but so
Why wouldn't
what?
they?
They're trying to force ByteDance to sell to a U.S. holder.
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay.
Because the idea is that China.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
China's
Yeah.
going to know the data that they're already
trying
stealing
to say
from
the
us.
data is stored in the U.S., but at any time China could just say, "Give me the fucking."
Well, of
data,"
course, because
and they
it-
have to give it to them.
Yeah, and also that makes no. It's obvious that China's stealing it, but here's the point: is
Well,
what sort of charges
The
that?
issue is just that they don't want anybody stealing our info except for us.
Of-
And then the
exactly.
other
That's
theory-
the thing is
Yeah.
they're stepping in on Facebook's game.
Yeah.
Facebook
Yeah.
sold the data to Cambridge Analytical, the company that did all that data work on all the Facebook posts that goof people up in the elections. They sold that to them direct, and they're from Britain. So who gives a shit? And plus, the other thing is, what's China going to find out? That we're fat?
Well, the other theory
They
is that
already
they
know.
want to shut down because TikTok's hashtag Free Palestine is way more popular than any support for Israel. So they want to eliminate anything that they can.
Oh, that's a big factor. 100%.
That's true.
That's
Yeah,
what they say.
Hey, man, I love a good conspiracy. I could believe it. I could believe
That's
that.
a very believable conspiracy.
Well,
though.
and also it is true. It is very true though that China's TikTok is much different than ours too, in terms of what people are allowed to see. But it's controlled and state run. It's different.
not
is,
as many butts on there, probably.
Yeah, we need more butts, because as you already said, the big butt people, they really know how to work the algorithm.
Yeah.
Is it the time they
it's
post, you think?
The buggerism, dude. Yeah, that's what it is.
I think they have the best timing down on when if you plan what day you post your butt pics, that really has a big impact on your numbers.
I mean, I'm sure they do have it down to a science, but
a butt science.
it's you just got to do squats, dude.
I think what we need to be big butt comedians. That works for the Grand Rapids guy. There's a guy in Grand Rapids on
Oh yeah.
The big butt guy.
He's got a large following. It really
And
does.
it really isn't in the ass, isn't it?
You know, even if it's fake and it's on a guy,
God,
people are into
I don't know
it.
about you, but I have just a sad Hank Hill butt, dude.
Oh yeah,
It's one where my hips are wider than my ass. It's so sad.
My ass isn't just an extension of my back.
I feel like a man until I see my bare ass from the
I'm
back.
very
I'm like,
white.
oh God, it's
I don't
just
have a
so
lot
terrible.
of kadunk.
No, and I don't know. I mean, as much as I believe a squat will help, I think just my lowly genetics
You don't
have
think
decided.
about it that the opposite sex, the hetero women, are a lot more into guys' butts as I think
They are.
want to believe.
They are, which is why
Yeah.
we should be worried about our butts. But we're not.
we
What are we
should.
worried about? Nothing.
Yeah,
Nothing. Being all ugly as shit.
The most worry that most straight men have about their butts is that window in high school where you honestly think like if a guy's gay, he could just
get up in there.
He could just take it. Yeah.
When you feel vulnerable.
Then it's like the dudes who are like, I don't have a problem with gay people as long as they're not trying to fuck me.
I was
like,
way
they're not,
more,
dude.
I was way more confident about my butt before I got old enough to start getting chest hair and butt hair. And then I was like, oh no, that's terrible.
You like your bare ass?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
That's what I
don't-
mean. Like we were saying, in the shower, if you startled yourself seeing
The
yourself,
new,
seeing my non-ass startles me.
The new Roadhouse movie, Conor McGregor is bare ass half the film.
It's Conor McGregor's bare steroided ass for half the
Now,
film.
I mean, it may be CGI'd,
Oh, I doubt it. I bet it's pure Irish gold over there.
but he's very confident in his bare butt.
Well,
More confident than I would be on screen.
in a way, it's kind of a nod to Swayze, because Swayze was big into bare ass. Swayze
Yeah.
showed his bare ass in Dirty Dancing. He walks across the flat floor. He's always big into, but it's for the ladies.
Of course.
What, Thelma and Louise, Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
It's ironic that
It's just funny. You
how
never
did I
think about
off-kill?
like girls being like, "Oh man, look at the ass on that guy."
But by God, it happens.
100%.
I knew that was true because I had 3 older sisters. That happened constantly.
By God, it happens.
Yeah, by God.
Your sisters were real into guys' butts?
Yeah, my sisters love Dirty Dancing
that
for
could
Patrick
be like,
Swayze's ass.
That could be like a real big persuader or like something that takes a guy over the edge for him.
I don't know if it was a deciding factor, but I can tell you that every moment where there was an attractive man butt on TV in the 90s,
They'd
my
let you know
sisters,
about it.
they knew when. If Dirty Dancing was on, they're like, oh, it's Patrick's butt. And then it was also Thelma and Louise, Brad Pitt, before he steals all the money from, I believe it's Thelma. He gives her a good shagging, and then he steals her money. But when he walks over to the money, he does a bare ass with cowboy boots on that does a big thing for the ladies, from what I understand.
Wow.
But yeah, there's a huge market for decent
Guy
to
butts.
good butt men.
What are we doing?
Well, we're just not working
We
at
got to
it.
get in the gym. We do the squats.
Yeah.
And then just every
We
stand-up
need-
clip you have is just you looking over your shoulder.
We need to embrace our
and just
booty
ass first
masculinity.
on stage. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually think it would be really funny to try to catch every picture that people
A
take
butt
with
could
your
really
ass out.
you could get caught up in the algorithm.
I'll do some ass. I'll do some ass out stand up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do ass out stand up. I'll do it. It ain't gonna be pretty, but I'll do it. I'll try to get a following. What we need is to pick somebody who's more attractive. We need Simon to do ass
Dude,
out.
I was gonna say,
Simon
do we
Carlson
know
could
him?
pull some. He could pull some Swayze ass out stand up.
Yeah.
But there's some
It's
others.
got to be a young stud.
There's some others in our group. It would be.
It can't be close to 40, but
No,
it's got to be
God.
young male butt.
we have to accept that you and I are the managers
We'll put
of
out
these
an ad.
ideas now.
We'll put out an ad.
We'll search
We're
for
looking for young male butts.
consensual.
Yes.
Consensually ordered, right?
Of course, yeah. But
Man butts. And at a certain age range, that's not their age that we are, what we're asking, but it's for them, and it will better their career.
Yeah, I've never even thought, because I've never thought to myself like, oh, I bet my ass looks good in these jeans.
I've never thought that either.
You know?
No.
Or been like, oh man, make sure these girls can see your butt when you walk
There
by.
was a time where
Guys are more focused on like their arms.
it's their arms and how's my forearms and my chest,
chest,
missing
shoulders.
skipping leg day. Dude, I had one time in high school where my girlfriend at the time said she liked baseball because of the shorts that I had in baseball because of my butt, and I was like, I
Really?
can't believe you were thinking about that.
See, a
while I'm fielding
woman's never
grounders.
said that to me. Did you feel like a piece of meat?
I did.
Now you know how they feel.
I was so offended.
Yeah.
I said, you don't even care about how good I am at the sport. You just want to look at my butt. And I thought, man, I love volleyball.
Man.
Comes from the same place. So, well, you were going to say, you were talking about Roadhouse real quick. Mm-hmm. You'd seen it already.
So I watched the reboot with Jake Gyllenhaal. I had never watched the original. And then
you've
I
never seen the OG.
And then I watched the Swayze OG version. Both films leave a lot to be desired. But having said that, like I was saying earlier, I don't set my expectations or standards for movies very high. I want to be entertained. It's got to be really bad for me to shut it off. And a lot of times if it's really bad, like the right amount of bad, you're like, I want to watch this just to see this train wreck. Mm-hmm. So you appreciate the bad. But yeah, it's entertaining. It's definitely there's 80s style shtick as far as like just over the top.
Is that like a nod to the original?
A lot of it is like stayed true to it as far as the character's name and a lot of the things about the character or the movie itself. But they're both just like violent. But it's like, you know, they're in both movies. It's a guy who's essentially a bouncer. They call him like a cooler, but he's kicking people out of the bar, managing the bar, all the riffraff in the bar. But it's like it's
the most intense riffraff.
Every 45 seconds, there's like a fist fight where it's some guy's getting thrown over a table, and it's just like, who are these fucking people?
They went to that high school from Lean On Me.
Even in the 80s, was there ever like maybe there are biker bars that are like, but like the chicken wire in front of the band and shit. It's like, who wants to go to this fucking bar?
And they all love it.
Because I feel like even guys who, it's got to be young dudes who are like testosterone ridden, just like, because any dude over 40, even if you were a badass and were the type of dude who'd like bumped into a guy on the way to the bathroom when you were younger and you could beat the shit out of whoever you wanted, 40 plus, you're like, all right, I don't have the energy for this.
No, and it's why, right? Where is Roadhouse, like, where's it themed out of? What city?
So in the original, I believe it's like upstate New York. It might even be.
Okay. Well, that's at least believable, because...
Or maybe it's the Midwest. I can't remember. But I know the reboot is in Florida.
All I
like
can
the
think...
Keys.
Okay, Florida Keys totally makes sense. Like, I think that is the best move they made, because the original movie, from what I remembered, was in like kind of a more desolate place.
Yes,
and the idea is how many of these rugged, tough assholes need to get their butts kicked before they decide they don't go back to the bar, because it's like there's millions of these guys. But if you do the next one and you say, yeah, but it's in the Keys, I'd be like, legit. That story holds water.
There's plenty of
There's enough assholes in the Florida Keys to start a fight every 45 seconds. That's true, dude. Throwing cue balls and
you think you'd just be like, just because of the mess alone. I don't know. Maybe I have anxiety now from messes because I have a 2-year-old, but it's just like, come on, guys. Somebody's got to pick that up.
I think about that all the time when I watch the movies and people set drinks on the side of the pool tables. I was like, respect yourself. This is getting out of line.
I don't know. Maybe it's an alpha thing, and I'm just too much of a beta to.
I've never been to a bar where it is. Well, I got invited to a biker bar when I was in Everett by the Everett Bikers.
Yeah,
and that was really cool.
Well, if they invited you, then it's not like when you walk in and the record,
they were cool, and
they
but when
who the fuck is this guy?
Exactly, but they also. See, I had an in with them because
You had a leather vest?
yeah, not a leather vest, but I had one in my heart. No, they they were all Vietnam vets, and I got them. I already had one up on them because I saw one of the guys had a Vietnam hat when he was at the bar, the first bar we were at, and I gave him an old thank you for your service because those guys, my whole town is basically was in Vietnam, dude. Almost everybody I know that is over 50 that could have got drafted in my town. So it's just normal to see some Vietnam vets, and I gave them a little tip of the hat, and then oh by God, we were out there talking about Saigon and all sorts of shit.
That's awesome.
It was fun. When they were called the Jokers biker bar. They're very cool guys, but don't go to their clubhouse.
Were you being kind of a war nerd with your questions?
What's that? Oh, absolutely.
I feel like I'd be
absolutely
asking them all the stupid shit.
Well, they dove right in with me because I found my in because being a bit of a war nerd for the logistics of things. One of the guys said he was in near Khe Sanh. And I said, were you on Khe Sanh or were you relieving it? As in the Marines were on top, but the Army came to relieve them, and the Army had artillery.
Oh, so
and
you
could
knew
set
a
up
lot of the
mobile
terminology and a lot of the info.
So I just said, I basically, without asking him, said, were you on top or were you relieving? He said, relieving. And I was like, oh, Army. And then on, man, they loved me. And I also was very honest about being like, I'm a dipshit, though. I don't understand ranks and anything. But, like, I've watched the Ken Burns war documentaries.
I started watching the Nam one, which his voice and everything is very, like...
The narrator's voice to it, right?
Soothing, and it's Ken Burns, isn't it?
I don't think it's his voice that narrates it. He and another lady organized the whole...
Oh, I'm an idiot.
But some of his...
Who is that guy, then? Because he does all his documentaries, right?
For it. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy could... I mean, it's not like... It is...
It's a smooth
It can
voice.
be very boring, obviously.
It can be.
But his voice, though, you're like, I want to listen to this.
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is you got to be a certain type of person. My thing is I don't recommend it to everybody because I've watched the 9-hour-long Vietnam War documentary twice. So I like it. I like watching it. I like watching how it unfolds. And I'm a nerd for it, you know? I am only a nerd because I think that stuff is like...
No, it's very interesting.
It's one of the largest versions of human experience that anyone has at any time. If you look at
and it also really puts
time.
things in perspective that people bitch about now.
Exactly.
That it's like...
And that people did a lot of stuff they did. People throughout history have always done stuff they don't want to do. Most people have gone into battles not wanting to fight. That's normal. It's not people being ridiculously crazed and charged up to do it. It's doing a lot of shit they don't want to do. And so, like, there's just an element of respect I have for it.
Yeah.
And I like knowing.
Well, fuck yeah. I mean, you have to respect those people. Like, I'm not ashamed to say that I wouldn't be able to do shit
fucking
there. Go to war?
No.
Fuck no.
Hell no.
I wouldn't even want to be in the military.
Hell no. I don't want to be even near it. That's the thing is I'm not doing it because I believe like a valor thing and it's an idea of myself.
Of course not.
It has a lot more to do with being like this. Can you believe in real life people did this? They really engaged
well, and
in
how
this.
can you not respect the people that have literally fought to, so we can have what we have?
Well, yeah, and even in this case, in the Vietnam case, I guess for me, it's just a thing too of.
But to be
a lot of people
forced to,
fought,
can you imagine how fucking terrified you'd be as like an 18-year-old boy?
Well, and that what people misunderstand is people don't go over there to fight for the ideas. They go over there to fight with the guys they were in basic training with and got to know, and now you're in there with them. So like. Most of those guys aren't really concerned with the idea of what fighting is there. They're concerned with the idea of going, I have a certain number of guys that I know and
all
I'm
of us
around.
were like, we went to high school because that's where we grew up or where our parents brought us. So it's like, it's another situation where you're forced to but you're watching your friends die.
It's crazy,
which is fucked up.
Those war docs and things like that. It's interesting to me about that, but more interesting is the story. Like I don't think telling people about a battle is that interesting. I mean, it is in terms of if you're really interested in the war style.
This is the funniest part of this podcast.
Exactly. I mean, this is so fucking hilarious. But like
I'm into it though. I like this.
But for like
I feel like
there's
I'm
the
there.
formation battle of things, and that's interesting for people who like that stuff. But what's really interesting is how people break down from being people who don't fight into people who might fight into people who do fight into how they are fully fighting. Like that process is something we should learn how that's going.
Well, I think it's back to the whole survival thing. It's like human instinct that, for most of us, you're going to have to.
God, and dude.
Have you ever talked to Louis Michael?
Yeah, Louis
He's
and
a
I
huge war
Louis
nerd.
and I war buff back and forth all the time. I love that guy.
You must,
Louis
yeah.
Michael is a fantastic comedian too. Funny.
He's
ass
very
guy.
funny, and he's super
Very funny.
into war. I think he wants to kill people.
He tells some good old tales of WW2 on stage, and I was like, God, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, he's
he talks
the
about
best.
the people being in the bunker boats and all that, but it's ironic as shit. It's
he
weird.
looks like he could be frontline infantry.
And now there are guys. I will tell you, if I had to pick a platoon of comedians,
he's at the front.
Oh God, corporal.
Well,
CO.
we're not putting him at the front because we don't
want to lose him. No,
Yeah.
he's CO. He's going to tell us
Right.
what to do. And I actually believe Louis could do it.
Like I was saying earlier, like if God, comedians, dude. If you were ever in a situation where you had to like fight in a group, I don't want to be with a group of comedians.
Be the most ass regiment ever.
Yeah.
The most ass regiment of all time, dude.
No.
I don't even. There would be so many problems. Even getting to the point of being like, "Hey guys, how's our lockers and our beds looking?" We'd never get out of basic. We'd just be living there, just waiting for people to fold their bed right. That would be it.
I could barely get through the movie Full Metal Jacket.
No, we'd have a lot of them.
Yeah. 100.
We'd have a lot of guys hiding cupcakes and loading their rounds on the toilet type of shit going on.
How
in
tall
our
are you?
outfit.
5'10"? I didn't know they stack shit high.
That's a great movie.
That
though.
high, yeah.
Yeah, Full Metal Jacket's a good one. But no, like from my hometown is a whole bunch of old Vietnam vets. They're good folks. But I also too my neighbor. We talked about my neighbor before on this, but I had a neighbor who's a Vietnam vet that sat across the yard and sat on a picnic table and just rolled his own cigarettes and watched me shoot baskets.
Really?
Yeah. He came up drunk one time and wanted me to.
Oh, I think I saw this clip. That's awesome.
Yeah, he came up drunk one time, wanted me to help him get in the bucket of his tractor to pick me up in the bucket and help fix his rain gutter. And I was like, nah, I'll wait. I'll help you tomorrow, Jim. He was hammered, dude. He was going to drunkenly put me up there,
No,
and I was going to
thanks.
rely on him to get me back down. Nah,
No.
not today. I'll shoot baskets today. I'll help you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
Jim was
dangerous.
great. Oh God, yeah, this is a good crew. Yeah, fuck yeah, man, good stuff. Well, so you got shows in April.
Yes, sir.
You got the new podcast or the new sketch show coming out. And that's
Yep.
on all platforms. Is it going to be at Smoothin' Bush?
No, we'll share it via my accounts or his.
Okay.
So.
And then also your accounts as well at Adam Degi. Is that for both
Yep.
TikTok and for
Yep.
Insta as well?
All of them across the board should be.
Very nice, man. Well, dude, we appreciate you coming through and coming.
Thanks for having
We got
me,
to talk
man.
about war. We got to talk about men's
The
rights.
edible I ate kicked in about 15 minutes in.
Heck
so
yeah.
we'll see it.
you and I both had a very solid cisgender white man episode. You know, and it felt good.
Yes. I mean, and thank God, because we need more opportunities.
I find it to be really hard to work with anybody but cisgender white. No.
I refuse to.
Yeah. Hopefully we get more of this because you know what? What people don't have is an opinion that's really unique and interesting coming from two white guys in their almost 40s.
I only want to talk to people and make content with people who look and sound like me.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm sick of this open-minded thing. I'm done with it. But no, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate you coming onto the pod. Thanks for coming
Thanks
through.
for having me, bud.
Yep. We'll be on in a couple weeks, guys. Thanks for coming through, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.